This is Enriquez. Nickname Black Hand of the Mexican Mafia. Prison gang politics.
Hey folks, my name is Enriquez and you're watching Uncensored. We're going to get right back to the hotel series and we're on Pelon part 5. Remember the whole scenario on this. You got some key players here. You got Vittorio Murillo, who's sitting on the bed in the center with his back to the camera. You have Chuco Castro, who's doing the majority of the talking, and the booming voice in the back to the left in the corner is Huero Shy. Those are the major players here. Keep in mind, you have a bunch of Mexican Mafia members in there, but they're members, right? These are carnales de palabra, our brothers with credibility and work. These are the powerhouses. One of the most vociferous in that room, you'll hear later on, is going to be Perico Ochoa, not to be confused with Perico Rocha, right? Perico Ochoa is from Primera Flats. And he likes to hear himself talk a lot. So you're going to hear him in this. So you remember some of the other issues we talked about in this past meeting. They're talking about Puppet, they're talking about Night Owl, they're talking about the division of territories and instilling the program in the community and how Chuco went about it. So let's pick up where we left off. And remember the big picture here, right? This is the preamble to the worst catastrophe in the history of the Mexican Mafia. This is the Max and Road murders, right? The participant is in the room. This is his induction ceremony. He's been voted in, and we walked through that already. And you're hearing this, right? And we're going to get to that point where we discuss the Max and Road murders. But I think it would be derelict of us if we just jump to that, right? So let's build up to that. Let's digest this and unpack it. And I'm going to start the video now.
I remember before the first wave of carnales that hit the streets back in 1970 somewhere, Champ and Topo and Calote and all their brothers got up. They had they used to take a collection. At every junta, they would take a collection, and Champ was the treasurer. He was a treasurer. He would keep the feria. When a carnal got out of the pinta, they would give him a pedazo, a carga, and money in a car.
And it would be good. You know, can we say right now, say for instance, somebody came with a good deal, a proposition to us and says, yeah, I got these tons of,
That voice now is Perico Ochoa. That's the individual who likes to pipe in every once in a while.
Just per se, tons of weed or tons of coke and everything, and just give me so much money and you can have it all.
Well,
we had that kind of,
we had something not too long ago where it was going to be given to us.
That's what I'm talking about. In what direction are we going? What foundation are we laying? Because I'm aware that there's people that have property and are brothers and have property. I mean, you could buy a house for $5,000 down and be paying $1,000 in a month. I don't mean that kind of property. I'm talking somebody that's established and has an escrow or equity of $100,000 to $200,000. You know what I'm saying? And somebody that has that kind of power, man, he can channel that energy into a place of...
All the freaking presses. Here's a dope bean, Perico Ochoa, talking about somebody taking out equity of their home or their property for $100,000 and $150,000. Would you do that with your life's work? Take out $100,000 and put it into the trust of these individuals here. That's the kind of boneheaded thinking that keeps this guy where he was. Nobody's going to do that. Independent growth is independent growth. For Mexican Mafia members that have strong business acumen and strong socio-political skills, they excel, like Vittorio Murillo, sitting with his back to the camera in the center of the bed. Owns a car dealership, multiple homes. He's doing well. He's a heroin dealer, but he keeps it to himself. By no means is he going to take out equity from his business, which is a car dealership and his homes, and put it into the trust of an individual who's going to go shoot it to their arm like Perico Ochoa. That's the pie in the sky thing that keeps them where they're at. That simplistic thinking of the immediate come up.
Business. And then that place of business doesn't have to be a place that sells alcohol, because that's where the insurance and the liquor license, just having a spot.
Family restaurant.
A restaurant's cool, but that sport thing I was checking out over there.
Well,
that
sports
Pee-wee-
bar?
Yeah, sports bar.
Where?
The one that Pee-wee was showing me.
It's not a.
Sports bar was gonna require liquor.
It's not like a sport bar. It's just like, let's say for example, it's like a restaurant. You know, you get coffee. You guys might be there.
First field.
Yeah, it'd be better if it required liquor.
Big screens of fight.
I mean, right now, it doesn't have to. I tell you something, Patrick, between what Perico says, the only thing that is holding me back from doing something like that is the challenge of going through
The paperwork and all that.
paperwork and all that.
How to go about it.
I can put nothing on my name. As a matter of fact, I don't have nothing.
No,
None of
but
us
then the
can.
way Perico said, somebody that does have it and has the escrow and the equity.
Did you catch that? What Chupo said? The equity? The equity. My buddy, Chuco, the letter of luck.
He's saying he wants to, he just don't know how to do it.
But that's what it says.
Finance.
He wants to, he just don't know how to do it. He's saying
I don't know.
it's not.
I don't know how.
I mean, I
You know,
understand.
it can work for us and against us
You
too.
can think
So
of it.
people say, well, the airman's there, come down and, fuck it, do
That's
something.
no way to keep it undercover.
Yeah, just to have a spot, and then that spot can be used to launder money, it can be used to do transactions, it can be used for,
That business starts another business, which starts another.
it doesn't have to be nothing extravagant, it's, like I said.
You're right, Perico. I agree with you 100%. Now, what do we do to put it in motion? Because we've talked about things like this. In the last 25 years, I must have been in a million conversations like this. Well, let's do this. But when do we all
Put down.
when do we all put our minds together like this? Not just in this room while we're talking until next month when we meet again. But when do we all say, okay, enough is enough. Let's start operating. Let's get together, put our heads together, and let's start doing something.
Well, see, what needs to be done is certain brothers have to take it upon themselves to go with each brother and find out what they're doing, and see what they can help with. I'm trying to look for a good word, because I don't want to say I'm trying but just see what each brother está haciendo and what he can.
Okay, check this out, because let's cut it short. When the fuck can help me out to go through all that paper?
Brother, what?
Through all that paperwork.
So the individual talking about asking Perico who's going to help him do all that paperwork, that's Carlitos from Lomas. He's deceased. He died from an abscess in his arm, I believe. But he's the one speaking now about who's going to help do the paperwork. And the person with the convoy saying, doing it in a legal manner, that's Victorio Murillo.
But in a legal fashion.
In a legal
I'll
fashion.
help you, shit, I'll go look for places to lease. What exactly what do you want?
Okay.
First, we have to find a place to lease.
No, first, no. Escrow. First, gonna want 5 fucking years of employment. That's not hard. You got your fucking money. That's not hard. You gotta get somebody.
Listen, check it out,
Okay, for example.
Well, it starts like this. First of all, we gotta.
That voice there is Gibby the Weasel. Yeah. The same guy that wanted to steal the clock radio, the TV, and ended up stealing a pen from the hotel. One of the viewers commented when I called him a weasel, right? And I remember an individual by the name of James Fratiano. He wrote the book titled The Last Mafioso. His nickname in the Italian mob was Jimmy the Weasel. So we now affectionately know Gibby as Gibby the Weasel.
Start with what business do we want to open? First of all,
That's sports bar, man.
sports bar 1. Okay, cool. Now we're gonna have to have a person without no kind of record to buy a liquor license. We have a sports bar, you can sell liquor, you need a liquor license. A liquor license requires somebody without a record or a felony that must go and buy it.
China boy knows about all that. He knows how to do all that.
Yeah, someone mentioned that you had a bar. Okay, how do you obtain your bar?
And someone else's name.
So China Boy, the individual on the far left of the bed, not standing, that's Pelon Maciel. The individual sitting on the far left of the bed in the dark slingshot t-shirt, that's China Boy Arias. He was killed in prison by his cellie. He was strangled. China Boy owns a bar, or he owned a bar at the time known as the Galleon, right? He and his wife Nilsa owned the bar, successful business. China Boy's a businessman. There's businessmen in that room that have property, that have equity in their properties, and not one of them are going to step forward and say, I'm going to give you $100,000 to do this, because all these guys in there like Gibby and Perico and a couple other guys, they're straight losers, right? And I'm not judging them, right? It's just a reality. They do dope, and that's all they do. They get high and they want to be lords of discipline, right? Like you're hearing them invoking all these beautiful, grand ideas, but they cannot bring them to fruition because they have no follow through. Some of the guys in their room have follow through. They do business. They're hustlers, and they've been that all their lives.
That's all we got. We need a veteran. We need somebody to support in our name. That's what we need.
That's Gibby that stood up, walked to the mirror, looked at himself with a white hat turned backwards.
You know, all the help. Check this out, bro. All the help that we need to do things like that, we have it.
Just open it because it's what.
Check this out.
Spits up.
The money is gonna go down to tea.
Carlitos, Victorio,
But check this out.
he has something he wants to put in on what you're talking
No,
about.
all of us here, without any denial here, all of us got a connection. All of us do. What we gotta do is focus on every neighborhood that we're controlling or having our grasp there. Who's that connection? Who's got all that higher bucks in them? If we can get that.
That individual speaking right now is Randy Theory of that belief. Randy, a cowboy from Bassett. He's obscured. He's sitting in the light, and you could see part of his dark shoulder between Negro and Vittorio.
Motherfucker in our grasp and put our arms around them, focus on them, and give them all our insurance, Corillo and all that, and show them our ways a little bit, and bring them in with us a little bit.
I don't think you're following what I don't think.
Okay, where he comes
No, we're not
in,
talking about that, Randy.
where he comes in is the capital,
Financing.
the capital.
Financing it.
Finance is what we're
No,
talking about.
there's brothers here, and there's just us here that can put it together.
Yeah,
Us here can put it together.
within 6 months, everyone can come up with 5,000. Yeah, exactly. There you go. You know, and then we can talk to gente. I'm sure by 6 months they'll come. We have about $100,000.
That's Perico Rocha exiting the room with a striped shirt that just had Victorio Murillo on the shoulder. And something came to mind right now. Happy you people that are watching are now subscribed. So I'd encourage you, go hit that subscribe button. Support the channel. Hit the like button. Leave a comment. If you like this video and you like the series, please bump it up. And there's always the hide button. Hide the video. Hype. It's important. All right, where's our video get?
Why don't you build a on yourself and you start one business?
That's what we're talking about.
Do it, but we gotta make a money first. Just concentrating on making it.
The individual standing in the white t-shirt and dark hat is Tonito Rodriguez. He was killed by Sereno. But that's him standing there.
Come to a junta, we're gonna make a certain amount of money that we come to a junta, we can set down on the table for each junta.
Okay. For business, for past experience, what I know, what I have heard. There's many more partners than is. There's always going to be one more than one. I'm saying, okay, let's say for example, one or two people come out with a dope. And go out and anything out. Let's say, get lights or chairs or whatever, everything. You see what I'm saying? And
What you're saying, if like a brother puts in 10,000 and another brother puts 1,000.
Everyone has to equal. Right, Brandon? Hey, you can lease a building, a section of a building for $1,500, $1,000. The thing is having the chairs and the equipment in there. Leasing the place, getting what's going to cost us is the big screen, the chairs, the furnish the place, the game or whatever. You can lease a place. We're not talking about buying a place. You know, the thing is
We can lease we can borrow a license from somebody that's out of business.
yeah, you can buy somebody else and too, yeah.
I know this motherfucker, the license is revoked and he has a restaurant and there is a room where everybody drinks. You know, he do it and he just
See, we know what we can do, but what's it going to take?
exactly.
How much money is it going to take?
Keep in mind, this is decades before the advent of casitas. Now they have casitas in every hood, every carnal controls a casita, where they have liquor, gambling, food, prostitution, you name it. This is what they're talking about here. Like, we're going to have a sports bar where we can sell liquor and we can make money, or brothers throw in, right? Now carnatas are funding their own casitas, right? So this is the nascency, the genesis of casitas, right? You're hearing it right here, right now. Carnatas spitballing ideas, and they're not going to get very far. I got to say this about Perico Ochoa, who's speaking about having the chairs and the big screen TV and leasing a location. His mother owned a bridal shop where they rented tuxedos in Norwalk, California. So he's somewhat familiar with business, but he doesn't have hands-on participation in the daily operations of the business. That was his sister and his mother who ran that business. So, there's some money in that room. But the ability to run a business for the majority of those members is not present, with the exception of a few.
Are we in agreement? How is everybody in agreement to do it? And if we are, then let's get busy and do it.
Maybe, see, like, I don't know what's happening out here. I don't know, lo que ustedes tienen, and all that, And it was just a food for thought.
Well, no, yeah, and it tastes good.
Because Pee Wee was showing me a place over here, and he suggested, we should have this kind of thing right here, and it sounded good, and I know there's a few brothers here, I'm not trying to point out anybody. There's even maybe a brother here by himself that could even establish that,
Well, I'm not. See, Victoria brought up a thing to us a few months ago about a thing in Costa Rica, and I personally dove in. And
That's the terrible thing about this. Like Donito from Sereno is a really good business guy. Pee Wee was a good business guy, and street hustle, right? Now the business minds sitting in that room are China Boy and Victoria Murillo. And I gotta say, Donito was killed by Lowell, a former clique within outside. It's still a clique, but it's independent now. It's permanently green-lighted. And most of the guys you're seeing in this video are now deceased. Like China Boy Arias was killed in prison. Victoria Murillo was killed in Northern California. Negro Villalba was killed recently in Long Beach, California. Perico Rocha overdosed on prescription meds in Corcoran, California. Carlitos is also deceased as a result of complications from an abscess. So most of these guys are gone now. And again, they were talking about establishing casitas within their territories to have carnatas function there as a business, right? And that's now the norm in the hoods. Casitas are the norm. No overhead. They move in, they take apart, they fund some of the machines. It's low, it's maximum profits, low overhead, and it's sell liquor and everything else there.
come up with a capital for it. I couldn't do it. I think a couple other carnales took it serious and tried to come up with it. Anyway, it's on the back burner right now. But that just goes, I'm just using that example to show you that this has been brought up before. And it didn't go very far because everybody wasn't involved. And not only that,
saying something and doing it is still all.
yeah, and not only that, because most of us weren't capable of coming up with the money to it. That's one.
So you hear Shy saying that the concept has not been brought up. It's brought up in almost every junta, right? That some of them don't have the financial ability to do so. And that's kind of reflective of their business acumen, or maybe their substance abuse problems, or their lack of managerial skills. Whatever it is, some people in that room are very successful in a position that they're doing now. And I gotta say this, right? I would be hesitant as a Mexican mafia member to put my money in a pool that I could lose, right? I could lose if they determined that I was going to be put on the hit list, or if somebody wanted to take my territory. or for whatever political reason that cartels get dogged out for, you're going to lose all the money you put into that. So I think that's another reason you see cartels independently controlling territories and their own casitas within their territories, because they don't have to trust anybody. It's their business. They control it in totality. A collective business like this is doomed to fail because there are going to be conflicts. Carlitos said that early on. And you're going to have the guys with nothing trying to voice their opinion about what is this going to happen. You heard Benico early on in this conversation talking about we should have cardenales go with other brothers to find out what they have. That's the mooch in them. That's the beggar in them. They want to glom off somebody else's success. And there's an old truism in the organization that holds true even today. Never involve a cardenal in your business. He'll destroy it. With that said, folks, we're going to wrap this video up. Hope you like it. As always, peace out, folks. Stay safe.